and welcome to my first interview of 2023. And it's good to be back. So my name is Andrew Athias and I run my own consultancy called Athias Marketing. And today my interview is going stateside, where I interview Andrew Athias, who is Digital Marketing Director for Sylvie Materials in Philadelphia. This interview was actually recorded the morning after Philadelphia lost the Super Bowl. So I'm just grateful that Andrew actually still showed up and took part. If they'd won, he probably wouldn't have come, to be honest with you. But, you know, he's here. It's great. I really enjoyed it and it was good fun. So in this episode, we talk about how his boss actually reached out to him to join their firm, even though they had no social media presence. So that's a huge strategic decision. We also talk about what makes a good video and content overall, especially for platforms like TikTok or Instagram Reels. We also talk about how employees and contractors are now approaching him to be featured on the company's TikTok, which is a huge role reversal. And we also talk about the kind of measures for success for TikTok, as they're a bit different to what you'd normally see in marketing. So I'll stop chatting and let you get on with listening. Take care. Bye. Hi, Andrew. Thank you so much for coming on the show. So, where are you based?
I am currently based in the saddest city in America right now, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, due to the fact that we just lost the Super Bowl 12 hours ago, and I have not slept yet. So
I could just say, thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show the day after the Super Bowl.
This is curing my depression, so I am happy to be here.
At last, that's what I'm going to say. So, Andrew, can you introduce yourself and your role at Sylvie Materials?
Yeah, so I am the digital marketing director for a concrete and aggregate materials company here based in the greater Philadelphia and New Jersey area called Sylvie Materials. Just as I said, we primarily, make and deliver ready-mix concrete. Just want to make sure that people know that it is concrete and not cement. Cement is a material and ingredient that goes into concrete, but concrete is the thing that you walk on the sidewalks. It's what buildings are made out of. So it is a concrete company.
So how long did it take you to learn about concrete? That's probably my first question.
So it's funny. I have an engineering degree. So I went to RIT, the Rochester Institute of Technology. And my engineering focused degree was more around digital engineering. So computer science, computer engineering. But I had a lot of roommates and friends who were also, industrial engineers and civil engineers. So I'm familiar. Yeah. I was familiar with construction-like things, but when you start working for a company, you learn everything about the company. So I got hired back in March of 2020. So 3 years in now, I can't say that I'm a concrete professional, but I definitely I know way too much about concrete than I thought I would ever know in my entire life.
Do you find though, because I find like when I worked for lots of product manufacturers and stuff, then I'd start looking at the lighting everywhere I went, or I'd start looking at the carpet.
Yeah.
You
start analyzing things. Like I can't walk outside anymore. Like I'll walk outside on the street. I'm like, yes, that's that type of concrete. Yes, that building is using high early concrete. Got it. Okay. So it's like I hate myself that I know so much about concrete now. I feel like you know how like people drink wine and like, yes, these grapes are from California and these grapes are from Texas. Like I'm a concrete connoisseur.
I think that's it. Concrete connoisseur. That's your new name.
Yeah, I'm going to change my title on LinkedIn to concrete connoisseur.
Yes, just like fine wine, but for concrete. Yes.
Except you can't drink it. Do not eat or consume
do not drink
concrete.
it. That was no way of saying. No. And it also sets quite quickly as well. It just really work.
Yes.
So many things. Okay, so how did a concrete company end up taking on a digital lead who's going to actually take them onto TikTok? That's not necessarily the most straightforward thing you'd expect. Yeah. Or is that just me?
No, you're absolutely correct. Construction companies are notoriously known for being very slow to getting into marketing, any type of marketing. You know, a lot of these construction companies still use billboards, radio ads, word of mouth, which, if done well, can still be effective. But I am not just I didn't apply for this role. Let me just put it that way. I never filled out a job application for this. I was found. So in my free time, I am actually also a social media influencer for Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I don't know if you're familiar with the Hershey's product, Reese's chocolate peanut butter cups. But I make a lot of content on a influencer platform that I have called The Reese's Guy. And I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and I talk about Reese's. I make content about Reese's, and I had made an ad.
You get like a lifetime supply.
Yeah, if you could see my room right now, like if I could lift my camera and show everything, like you would see Reese's artwork, Reese's merch, Reese's, like I've got a shelf over here of just Reese's products. Like you would think I was Willy Wonka.
So fascinating.
Yeah. But what's crazy is I made a targeted ad to get one of my videos more views. And I guess my now manager saw it and he slid into my DMs one day saying, hey, we're thinking of, launching social media for our concrete company. Would you be, someone who would be interested in taking on that role? Again, I had never heard of this company. I thought it was a fake company. Like I thought it was spam. Like I almost deleted it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because in when I looked at it, it had like 3 followers. So I was like, this isn't a real company. And I'm from Philadelphia. I had never heard of this company. And so I was like, this is a fake account trying to ask me to give them money or whatever. But then I Googled it and looked into it. I was like, oh, this is a real company. Yeah, they're just bad at social media because, they need a social media manager, which would make sense why they're asking me to go be their social media manager. So long story short, I was found, and because I make a lot of content about candy and convinced to come join a concrete company, and now they pay me to run their marketing. And honestly, it's one of the greatest career choices I think I've made in my very young career life.
That's lovely, though. It's kind of like you're kind of going back to using some of the kind of engineering stuff that you've done. So it's actually a nice.
So I don't actually use any of the engineering things, but
but you might understand more.
Understanding.
You don't have to use it. I think it's more about the understanding. Sorry, not using as in you have to do a calculation. No.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not the one making the concrete and delivering the concrete and talking to contractors. What they're talking about more. Yeah, that's. I'm getting there. You're
getting there. See.
Yeah. But it's really a testament to how forward thinking my manager is. So he's the son and nephew of the 2 owners of the company. So he really wanted the company to be more on social media. He just needed to find someone who understood it and was able to do it well, and that's how I did.
Can I ask a question? And you can because normally construction companies are quite, I guess older men tend to run most of these large construction firms, right? Correct. So your manager who reached out to you, what kind of age bracket was he in?
Believe it or not, I think before I got hired, he was the youngest person in the company. So he's in his mid 30s. But he's the son and nephew of the 2 people who own the company, and they're in their 60s and 70s. Yeah. Well, not 70s, but up in that.
Don't age him too much.
Yeah, no, because our company's only 75 years old, and
so they founded it when they were 5. No, they didn't.
They're the current president and CEO. Their father, started the company. But it's just a testament, when you have younger people coming into a stereotypically old company. You start having younger ideas into how sales are happening and how marketing is happening and how operations are happening. So it's always important. I mean, this is a great lesson for any company, is to always look to hire younger people into decision-making roles, because that's how you really start to get your company to progressively move forward in a lot of the tactics that you want to do.
That's such an interesting thing, and it's such a progressive thing for them to do, because I guess construction firms by their very nature are risk averse, and I think that's the issue we've got at the moment. Is this generation who are kind of getting towards retirement, and then there's this younger generation coming through who are the decision makers now, and you can't sit there and go, well, they're not on social media. It's like, yes, we are. We're on social media. We're using it. We use it every day.
Yeah.
And when you look at kind of the younger people, even younger people, you're like, they're all digital natives, and that's what they believe in, that's what they do, and that's how they conduct themselves. So it's quite an interesting transition that actually they reached out and said, and also how they reached out was really smart.
Yeah, they literally slid into my DMs.
We don't care if you even know about the industry. We just love your content, which I think is the right way to do it. Because actually, when I try and create for like TikTok, because I'm used to creating for other channels, but it's like getting my head right into that kind of how to do it properly. And I'm not completely there yet. I'm a marketeer, and I'm there going, actually, I need to learn stuff and relearn things and how I structure stuff and how I structure content. So yeah, it's a great way. It's a great thing they did. So it's really smart.
Yeah, I mean, and that's some of the things that I tell other marketers is you can be a great marketer and not know how to be on TikTok, right? Yeah. It's like writing poetry, right? Just because you speak English doesn't mean you can write music and poems in English, right? You need a certain level of creativity and a certain way of thinking to make that kind of art form. Right. Yeah. And a lot of construction companies that are starting to get onto TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all these social media channels, right? They're not understanding that just because you put content on the platform, it's not the right type of content to put on the platform, right? Exactly. Like I see on TikTok, they just upload pictures and it looks like a slideshow, right? And it's like that's
well, they use that in a presentation, so we'll just use it here, won't we?
Right,
it's like,
right, exactly.
No,
right. So it's like you can do that. Like TikTok allows you to upload pictures and make it a slideshow, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're utilizing the platform in the best way that you should be.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's the thing. So in terms of the results and I guess you started in March 2020. So what kind of results? You've grown from the 3 followers and how's it looking?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I'm not somebody who looks too much into follower numbers per se.
Okay.
My manager and, the CEO and president like to look at follower numbers because that's the only way they understand success. Right. But we've grown pretty much by 1,000%. Like our TikTok channel went from 0 to now, I think we're at like 11,000 followers. But TikTok's one of those platforms where the number of followers don't matter because you can still get millions of views on a video with, out having millions of followers. So, we've hit a couple of videos that have hit, 500,000 views, 1 million views, and in that range. So we've done very well in that sense. But same thing on Instagram. We're about to cross the 10,000 follower mark. We've had videos that hit 6 million views. I think is our most successful video. So we're really growing to a point where now my manager is getting more ideas on the type of content that we want to put on different platforms. And even better, we're starting to think of hiring more help to make the content that we want to put on these platforms. We're really starting to become a media company in the way that we're thinking. Yes.
That's amazing. I mean, and also it's an amazing opportunity for you as well. I mean,
exactly.
It's interesting because I always think, like with social media platforms, once they're new, that's when your biggest opportunity for growth is, right? That's when you can actually turn around and you can really you can get traction on it. But what you find on some of the more established platforms is, if you're going for Instagram via the traditional route of your feed and stuff, you're not going to get traction anymore because it just doesn't work like that anymore. And I think things like TikTok, you can actually sit there and go, you can make a huge dent just by going in there now.
Yeah.
And trying it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're not using, these platforms necessarily, in the way that some people are probably thinking. It's like, we're not making videos and then making money from the videos, right? And it's not like we're making content and then someone watches our videos and then goes to our website and buys concrete, right? That's not how people buy concrete. But what's happening is we're getting brand exposure. So again, I've lived in Philadelphia my entire life, have never heard of the company. Yet now that we're starting to get more content out there, there's more people finding out about our company. And it's helping with hiring, because now that more people know about us, more people are applying to, either be a truck driver for us, to work in our office positions, work in sales. But you can't apply for a job if you don't know the company exists, right?
So it's helping you in those ways. In terms of I guess construction, we're always talking about work winging. Does that mean though also that actually, because you've got more visibility, people will have heard of your company more? So
now, yes.
Overall, in terms of I guess when you're bidding for work, right, in contracts, it's going to help you, just that visibility and recognition, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me on, how many more projects that we've been able to successfully bid because of our social media accounts. But I will say, ever since I started launching our pages, other companies that we work with are tagging us in their social media, and they're excited to, when we're working on a project with them, because they know they're going to get marketing exposure from us, because we don't just target ourselves in our content. We talk about the different companies and clients that we're working with in our projects and on Instagram and on TikTok. So, now they hear about us, they hear about another construction company, and they help with their brand exposure. So it's really a win for everybody. So, for an example, I made a video called Let's Pour Concrete, and I talked about the fact that we were working with a company called Anthony Biddle Biddle Contractors. And again, someone watching that video may have not heard of us, but now they've also heard of the Biddle Contractor. So it's great. And actually, I get in trouble now sometimes, like good trouble, where I have other construction companies getting mad at me because they're like, hey, we're working on this project up in North Jersey and your social media guy wasn't there to help cover it. And I was like, well, there's only one of us, and I was at this other project.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Though.
So, there's other companies that we work with now that really want to be on our Instagram and on our TikTok page. So we need to hire people to, help coverage. All the
say it'll be you out everywhere.
Yeah, because I can only be at one place at one time. So now we're starting to hire more, digital marketers and videographers to go, to multiple projects, in the same day.
Hi, it's Io here, and I just wanted to tell you a bit more about the show. The Built Environment Marketing Show was set up during Lockdown 1 as a way to help firms do better marketing. It was very much about having the conversations that I have with my friends and showing what best practice really is. In terms of me, well, I'm actually a generalist marketeer, so I guess I know lots of things about marketing and how to pull everything together. So I could be talking about, PR, or understanding what to do next strategy-wise, or figuring out how to get in front of the right audience or what messaging you should be using. Those are all things that I'm kind of really skilled in and understand how to do for my clients. I now work for myself, and I set up my own consultancy at Bass Marketing in 2020. And I'm working with a range of engineering and architectural firms, and even PropTech firms, who really want to, I guess, talk the language of their clients and their audiences and do something a bit different in terms of their strategy and content. If what I do sounds of interest to you, do email me at io@abassmarketing.com, and that's AYO, or head to my website, which is www.abassmarketing.com for more info. There's also a link in the show notes. Bye. If you're a construction firm and you're about to kind of think, actually, I should start doing something on TikTok, any advice on where to get started or what to do?
The best thing I recommend for anybody, and this can be for any industry, not just construction, but go onto the platform that you want to be successful on, whether it's TikTok, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, and become a lurker. Look at other content. Look at what makes good content, or what you perceive as good content in your industry. So let's say it's concrete, right? You can now go find concrete companies that are crushing it on TikTok, like my company. But there are other concrete companies like Ozinga, that's based out in Chicago, that area. They make excellent content as well on their platforms. There's another company called SRM. They make really good content. I think it's all because I started making good concrete content. I really believe that once I started, you are
the trailblazer, yeah.
Because believe it or not, Sylvie Materials was the first concrete company on TikTok. I got us on TikTok in way before other companies figured out this was a platform to be on.
Wow.
But for any company, any industry, but specifically construction, go onto the platform that you want to be successful on, look at what makes good content, and then hire people to make that content, right? I see the same mistake all the time where it's like some head of salesperson. Some head of salesperson who has no idea how to actually make video or edit a video to try to make content, right? Because they don't have the eye for it. And I give them credit for trying, but like if you want to have a good mechanic, you need to hire a mechanic. Right? If you want to have a good driver, you need to hire a good driver. If you want to be good on TikTok, you need to hire someone who's good at TikTok. All right. It's no different. You know, you don't want me driving the truck. So let me just say that, right? So you definitely, right? So you want to make sure you're putting the right people, you know, into these positions.
And I guess, is there like a structure to TikTok videos, or is there any kind of way that it's best to approach it, or is it depending on, I guess, what you're trying to do?
So all we do on social media is this, right? We scroll. We scroll with our thumb. Okay? Yeah, right.
I was thinking, I have no idea what that is. And this is the podcast.
all we do is scroll with our thumb, right? And your job as a marketer is to get someone to stop scrolling to watch a video. But how do you get someone to stop scrolling, right? You have to have a hook, right? Something to catch their attention for the first 3 seconds. Whether it's some kind of saying like, I can help you save 3% on your concrete ingredients, or I know 5 ways to get you more clients, or something that's going to get people interested in your video. And then you basically get the hook, do whatever it is you said you were going to tell them, and then end the video in a way that, you know, you feel satisfied. Because once you get someone to start watching, you need to get them to continue to watch. And then once you get them to continue to watch, you want them to either A, watch it again, or share it. So you need to understand storytelling. You need to understand creative thinking, creative writing. Which is why you want to hire the right type of people, to be on these platforms, right? So you need a hook. You need something to get people to actually invest in that video, and then either end it in a way that gets people to share it or rewatch it again.
Okay, so that's your structure and your overall approach. So in terms of getting, I guess, employees to want to be in videos and all that kind of stuff, because I know a lot of people are like, I'm far too busy to be doing this TikTok nonsense, I'm sure. Just my clients. So any tips on that, or is it a case of get it going and then people will follow once they realize how good it is?
It is. Sometimes I have to beg to get other people to be in our content.
I was going to say, you are in quite a few of your videos.
When we first got started, it was basically just another page for me. It was mostly just me talking and being the face of my company, which is okay. I think every brand should find a way to humanize their company and have a face associated to their brand. Because we're people like relating to people. It's easier to relate to a person than it is to relate just to concrete. Right. But when you find out that there's people behind the work of the concrete and there's people behind the storytelling of the concrete, you as a person can relate to the video and be more interested in watching it. So sometimes I do find truck drivers that aren't so, introverted and, aren't rude and are very nice, who have something to say and share. Sometimes I'm able to successfully get people in the office to be on our page. But again, once you start making a successful account and people enjoy watching the content, especially your coworkers and other employees, then they feel a little bit more inclined to get in on the action.
Of it, and they actually think, I see what you're doing now, and I would like to be part of it. Yeah, I think that's half of the battle, isn't it? I always find it's like, especially, I guess people are really reluctant to be the first one. So it's kind of like, I'll see how it goes, and then I'll see if I like it, and then I'll consider investing my time. I think sometimes it's just it's that game, isn't it? Of once you start producing the content and people see it and they go, actually, I get it now, or I understand why you're doing that, which is half the battle, isn't it?
And what's cool is, again, some of our drivers and mechanics and other employees, they have kids. right? And sometimes, you know, when they end up on the TikTok page, their kids comment, it's like, oh my God, that's my dad. Like my mom is on TikTok. My dad's on TikTok. My uncle was doing that cool thing in that video. So sometimes I get to meet the kids because sometimes they come to work or family events and they're like, wow, you put my dad and my mom and my cousin on TikTok. You know, you're the cool guy. And I was like,
you actually made them cool in their eyes, which is amazing.
Yeah. And even better, you know, I have a driver right now. He's mad at me because I'm working on this video. It's a day in the life of a driver. And he's like, hey man, where's my video? You know, it's not on YouTube yet. I was like, I know, I'm working on it. I'm editing it. I got a lot more seasoning I'm adding to this meat, right? Like he's like, yo man, where's the video? I thought it was gonna be done by now. I was like, I know. Just give me another like 3 weeks. I promise it's gonna be good. It's just I'm not ready for it to be done. So, you know, I'm getting in trouble because people want to be on social media. So, you know, it's a good problem to have.
That's fantastic, though. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, it shows you're doing a good job as well, because you're like, he wants to be on that channel.
Yeah, he wants. Not only does he want to be on the channel, he's haggling me every week to get me to get my work done. I'm like, do you want to edit the video? I'll give you the files. You can edit it yourself. Save me time.
Sorry, my alarm's gone off. I don't need to pick up my son. He's away. I guess any tips on getting kind of senior level buying into TikTok? Because I think that's one of the things the challenges people are going to face, isn't it? It's just another social channel. It doesn't matter. Any kind of ideas or tips or anything further you think?
You know, you need to be where the attention is. You know, there's no promise that TikTok is still going to be a platform that's dominating people's attention a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, right? There might be something new that pops up. But right now, it's the app that everyone's on. So you need to be where everyone else is. But, you know, this can go, again, for any company. But I think every company needs to become a media company, because all we do as people now, we spend all day on these little devices. So you need to figure out a way to get onto this device as I unlock my phone. But
he's pointing at his phone.
Yeah, again, you need to hire people who know how to make content, really good content. That's plain and simple, right? There's no secret anymore. No matter what industry you're in, fashion, food, you know, construction, entertainment, whatever you're in, there's somebody out there or some company out there that's already making really great content. So it's not that hard. You know that saying where it's like, if it's so easy, anyone can do it, everyone would do it. Everyone's doing it. So if you're not doing it, that's on you as an owner or as a brand. It's not that hard. You just got to find the right people to get you onto these platforms.
I think there is also that whole thing of now, it's like people want to understand more about your business, what you're about, your purpose,
exactly
who you are. And it's like actually video, audio, all of that content is a great way for people to get to know, like, and trust you. I think that's the thing, is that if you're not doing this stuff, you're going to be missing out on that. And I think it does help you. It just helps people understand who you are and what you do. And I think quite often people don't. I mean, even me as a marketer, quite often people are like, oh, that's what you do. And you're like, yes. but it's so important. And I think that's the thing. It's like, you know, people, they just want to know more. And I think they want to be more informed. I think it's as simple as that. And I think, how can you find different ways of sharing what you do? And not everybody's going to want to read a blog anymore. And there's so many blogs out there that you just kind of like, who reads this stuff anymore? Nobody does.
No one.
And I think that's it. It's, you know, much more short form content, opening up your processes, your people, what you do, why you're better, you know, loads of content ideas you can share. Definitely. They're all out there.
Yeah. No one, you know, applies for a company anymore just for the sake of the company existing. People stalk companies, right? You know, if you're applying for a company, you go to their LinkedIn, you go to their Instagram, you go to their TikTok, you see what the people look like who work there. You see what kind of events they host, right? You know, no one just puts in an application and says, yeah, I'll work here, whatever. I'll figure out what that company is about when I get there. No, we stalk companies. We want to know who we're working for. You know, we want to know who runs these companies. We stalk their LinkedIns. And, you know, so the more you put yourself out there as a company, the better you're going to attract the clients and the customers and the employees that you want to attract.
Brilliant. So if a firm is looking to get started on TikTok, any kind of tips or tools or resources are a good place for them to kind of find out more, apart from looking at the platform, which I know is definitely one, and understanding what's on it?
Honestly, that's
Anything
it.
else?
You have to
Is
get
that it?
on.
Just look at it.
You want to be on TikTok? Go download TikTok. Start scrolling and searching for the content that you want to see. There's no book you can read. There's no, tutorial class.
No?
There's no, I mean, you can go find a course. There's a bunch of people selling courses on how to get.
No, you're right. It's like, right? What's it going to teach you? And it changes.
If you want to learn how to be on TikTok, open up TikTok and go search on TikTok and look at the content that's being made. Now, you can take classes on how to edit a video. You can watch a YouTube video on how to make a video, better, storytelling and, how to, add more context to your content. But if you want to be good at a platform, you need to look at the content on the platform. It's plain and simple.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today, Andrew. It's been awesome. And thank you for obviously staying up to actually do this interview.
I'm happy, very happy to be here. This, like I said, this is fixing my depression of watching my favorite team lose a championship game. And you know what's even worse is here in Philadelphia, in the last 4 months, we have lost the World Series, the Super Bowl, and the MLS Soccer Cup. So my city is one of the first cities in American sports history to lose the major titles of 3 different sports in the same season. So I am not having a good time as an American right now. And I'm going to be very sad for the next few weeks. But this last 30 minutes of a podcast episode is the happiest I think I will be for a while.
Oh, that's lovely, kind of. And on that happy note, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Built Environment Marketing Show. Don't forget to check out the show notes, which will have useful links and resources connected to this episode. You can find that on abbasmarketing.com. And of course, if you like the show, please do share it with others on social, as it helps more people to find us. See you soon.